411 Live.
Where you can learn about issues that impact us every day. State of world, 411 Live.
Real people, real talk.
Made to help people in our community in every way. Boy, your girl, 411 Live.
Have you ever met a person who seems to encounter a lot of roadblocks, obstacles, challenges, but in spite of that, they push right through? I mean, they realize their dreams. They enjoy life. They have fun. They could use those obstacles and challenges as an excuse, but they just don't. I admire those people. Hello, I'm Beverly Taylor, and this is the 411 Live, Real People, Real Talk. On this podcast, we have interviewed a lot of people who are like that. They push through despite the obstacles. And today is no different. Our guest today is Rick Norris. He plows right through. He is an engineer. He is a cartoonist. He is an author. He is a cookie entrepreneur. Many things. He wears many hats. And it's so great to have you on the podcast today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. Now, full disclosure, I talked about you being a cookie entrepreneur, and I need people to know I have a cookie. I have been munching on it, and it is good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Very good. I have the raisin oatmeal. That's my favorite, so that it's good. And we're going to talk more about the cookies in a moment. But I want to get into this whole thing. You know, you're an engineer, but you love to draw. And where did that come from? Is that from when you were a kid?
Yes, my couple of things. I'm a natural artist.
Mm-hmm.
Around the age of 8 or 9 years old, if I recall, I won a scholarship to go to the Milwaukee Museum, Art Museum.
Oh, nice.
And I've been drawing ever since. I also had a love for science at the same time. Although they may appear to be different in opposite directions, they do relate. Okay. Engineering, creativity, and art as well.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, I wanted to be an architect.
Okay.
But I gravitated towards engineering primarily due to the space program.
Oh.
And I used to draw a lot. My mom used to say, son, you need something to rely on, fall on. So don't put so much emphasis in drawing. But I always kept it with me.
Yeah. Yeah. You love that advice, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So now you're an author. You have come up with this book, and it's called I'm Next, Famous African Americans Coloring Book for Kids.
Yes.
Under the Little Freddie Toons label.
That's right.
Where did that come from?
Well, little Freddie came from, I have two older brothers, about 17, 18 years my senior.
Oh, wow.
And I had an older brother who recently passed away, Freddie, and he was more like a entertainer. Mm-hmm. He had a beautiful voice. He reminded me of Marvin Gaye.
Oh, yeah.
And if he had lived somewhere else, I think he would have made it.
Uh-huh.
But he used to take me around like big brothers do, around his friends and things like that. And they used to call me Little Freddie.
Oh, okay.
And so I kind of kept that nickname, Little Freddie.
Yeah. So he was what do you call it? Just kind of that example, because, the little ones gravitate to the older ones, and he was that one that you gravitated towards.
Yes.
So that's where Little Freddie came from. And then you went to do the coloring book for kids. Now, I understand that your granddaughter had something to do with that.
Yes. As I mentioned earlier, I was trained more in the classical artistic drawings. I do portraits and things of that sort. Mm-hmm. And because my engineering side was in competition with my artistic side, I kept trying to do the portraits like real photographs. And someone said, well, if you're going to do that, just take a picture of the person, okay? But what I enjoy about the cartooning, I'm more free-handed. I'm not restricted and things of that sort. And at the same time, as you mentioned, my granddaughter, Anaya, growing up, being interested in things that she wanted to do, I decided, hey, why don't I create this cartoon character, this little Christian young girl who has these desires to be a business person, a dentist. She called a dentist a tooth fairy.
Oh, wow,
so that's
okay.
how she related to that.
Understood.
And so I actually started creating this book for her.
And let's talk about what this looks like, because I've skimmed through the book. The coloring book, you have the picture, the caricature of the different fields that people can go into. And then on the left, you have the description, right?
Yes.
So what were you aiming for when you did that? What message are you trying to send?
Well, it's primarily message is this. Unfortunately, today, as you mentioned before, I'm an engineer. Been in this practice for 40 years. I'm still alone. I don't see too many African Americans engineers. We don't do a good job in promoting our career. And unfortunately, not too many African Americans. They may have heard about engineers and scientists and things of that sort, but how many of us really know one and what we do? And so my point was I wanted to highlight and bring forth the awareness that we have African Americans in various fields. And I wanted to expose that opportunity, particularly young people, so they can pursue those things, that they can too. And that's why I came up with the title, I'm Next. It's a positive thing. I'm next to achieve this.
So we've got engineer, of course, is in there. We've got astronaut, firefighter,
entrepreneurs, law enforcement, all number of people, contractors. I think the one with the contractor, I worked for a consulting firm when I first got out of college, and I relocated to Cleveland, Ohio. That's the first time I saw real African American economic power.
Really?
I saw African Americans in non-traditional fields. And there was this African American female who had a construction firm, and she's putting up high rises. I said, wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow. And that's the reaction. Wow. I wanted for young people to get out of this book. Wow, I can do this. Not only is this something that can happen, is happening, it can happen for me. And one last thing, the way I got into engineering, I was in high school, and I never saw a Black engineer before in my life. And just so happened a career there was this gentleman, I don't know his name, that's in my bucket list to find him, but he came to talk. I don't even know what he said.
Really?
But
you were just mesmerized?
I was just so mesmerized, and I said, yes, I can become an engineer too. So that's one of the purposes why I did the book.
Exactly, because exposure is everything, right?
Yes, it is.
You got to be exposed to. You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
So I like that, and you're targeting very young kids.
Yes.
I mean, the little ones can color, right? And they may not get it at first, but as they grow older, they will get it. This is an astronaut, or this is, I can do this. So I love that idea. I really do.
Yeah, one thing I want to add too, in the book, I asked the parents to take a picture of their child today, placed it in the back of the book, and as the child completes this book, put down 3 areas they think they want to become professionally. Hold on to the book. Revisit the book when they graduate from high school and college and see. So it's just not meant to color and put it away, but to say, this is a picture of me when I was 10 years old. Now that I'm 20 years old.
Yeah. Seeds are being planted, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I know, your faith is very, very important to you.
Yes, it is.
And you put scripture
Yes.
in there as well?
Yes.
Where does that fit in? Where do you put
Well,
that?
the scripture is in the book, words of encouragement and things like that. The whole purpose of Little Freddie Toons, the book, the cookies, and everything else, is spreading the gospel. Subtly, up front. So when they see it, they see scriptures. Some people may never see scriptures or anything of that sort. So it's a Christian-based product line where I'm showing the fun of doing all kinds of things, and you're getting the little guy's word at the same time.
Right, right. So with the book, you honor God and you honor your brother because
Yes.
you dedicated it to him,
Yes,
right?
I did.
And I'm sorry for your loss because I
Thank you.
know it's it's fairly recent, and he didn't get a chance to see the finished product, did he?
No, he did not. Unfortunately, his passing was untimely, and he had a little for God and everything. I put a lot of things on hold because my brother didn't have any children. So myself, my wife, and one of my nieces was caregiver.
Yeah.
And so I put a lot of things on hold for him.
Yeah.
And had those things not happened, I would have published the book a year earlier and never mentioned his name, even though he was an inspiration of this, him as my granddaughter as well. But like I said, you got to look for God and everything. So now he's memorialized in this. And going forward, I'm going to create a character about him.
Nice. Oh, that's very nice. That really honors him, right?
Yes.
I was talking about obstacles, and, as you're saying all these things, people are like, well, his life sounds pretty good to me. But growing up, you did have this obstacle. You weren't this outgoing guy that you are today. You were dealing with dyslexia, but didn't know it, right?
Yeah, even though not officially diagnosed, I didn't know what was going on with me. I never felt smart or intelligent because I struggled with certain things. For example, when I was in college, I used to tutor people in engineering and science and stuff like that. They get an A on an exam, I'll fail it.
Really?
Go figure. Okay, and so a lot of things, and you put so much pressure on yourself to achieve grades. Now, I'm not saying you're not get good grades, but don't let it define you. So I had an interesting conversation at a function. I think it was a Cream City, some function where there were some doctors there. And we got on the same conversation, what I'm doing, engineering, art, and all that other stuff. And out of the blue, this doctor, she said, "Are you dyslexia?" I didn't know what that was. And I said, "Why would you say that?" She said, "Well, your artistic side of the brain and your analytical side of the brain got to be in competition with one another and transposing numbers and letters and things." And I said, "Yeah, that's it." And so once I discovered that, actually, I turned it around to my benefit. Now I get it why. So over the years, I trained the artistic side. You take a rest, let the analytical side do its thing, engineering, because that's what I was doing then. And now as I'm transitioning into retirement, I'm ramping up the creative side, and I'm having fun.
Yeah. I love that. So, I mean, do you run into people who, as you're having conversations, who, I don't know, face the same thing? They were like missing something, but they didn't have a label for it, and now they're slowly understanding?
Yes, in Luke, I believe chapter 31, where Jesus is talking to Simon Peter. He says, "Simon, Simon, indeed Satan has asked for you that he may sift you like wheat, but I have prayed that your faith does not fail, and when you return to me, strengthening your brother." God takes us through stuff to filter some things out of us, but also develop us so we can be a blessing to others as we can direct them. That what they may be facing, there's an obstacle, but God is working on you. He's building you up to prepare you to do something even greater, that the plan that he has for you.
Wow, that's good. So do you feel like that what you went through, the dyslexia, I guess you always have it, right? You just know how to manage it.
Yes.
Do you feel like that's, and I'm going back to kind of our conversations before, do you feel like that's something that you're facing, maybe God put in your life to keep you on the right path, so to speak?
Yes. You alluded to an engineer, all the other gifts God given me. And I really look at this as I said earlier, I felt kind of out of place, not that bright. If it wasn't for that, I believe I would have grown up to have an ego. I would have been arrogant. I wouldn't have given God credit and things like that. I would have been a bad person. But because of that, it made me humble. Okay. that I can use this now, not only just to benefit me, but to benefit others, to help other people. So I look at that, and it trained me to really get into detail and manage certain things.
Yeah.
So again, I look at it as a blessing, kept me from getting an ego. I would probably never come to the Lord if it hadn't been for that. Because I would say, I'm all that.
And a bag of chips.
And a bag of chips.
That's good. That's very good. As you move forward, and well, this is a good time to take a break before I start on more. We have a lot more to talk about, but let's take a break, come back, and I'm talking to Rick Norris, engineer, cartoonist, cookie entrepreneur, and believe me, the cookies are good. Stay with us. You're listening to the 411 Live. We'll be right back.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Welcome back to the 411 Live. My guest is Rick Norris. So, Rick, we've talked about the coloring book, and I've talked about eating your cookies. So let's talk about cookie making. Where did that come from?
Well, actually, it came out of reverse. Initially, the product was to do the book, okay? And back in 2017, 18, the challenge from a cost perspective is producing all these books and trying to sell them. Since then, fortunately, Amazon had this print to go by demand, which made this possible. So back then, I said, okay, I got to do something. The Lord impressed upon me, hey, cookies. John 2:5, whatever he tells you to do, just do it. Right? And prophet says, lean not to your own understanding.
Right.
Okay, so I'm being obedient to the leading of the Holy Spirit. I said, cookies, Lord? Cookies, Rick. And so I did the cookies, and the cookies, the original packages, again, had scriptures behind that, building a character line. And that's what really got the popularity of Little Freddie Toons going. And it took a while to develop it. And I got to tell you, we think about doing cookies, but when you're trying to, as a business, you got to take in other things, packaging, cost points, all those type of things. So it took me a while, about 3 or 4 years, to really get that down. And I'm now to a point now where I, in the process of working out something, a deal with a major retailer's person or something of that sort to put the cookies in their stores.
Right. And you've got to think of shelf life too, right?
Exactly.
There are a lot of factors.
There's a lot of factors have to go into that.
Right. So your cookies, they have a little character on them.
Yes.
The one, let's see, my favorite.
Your favorite is Juan.
My favorite is Juan.
Juan is the financial, when you look on our website, littlefreddietunes.com, Juan is the financial person in his ministry at his church, okay? Little Freddie is oatmeal cookies. That's my favorite. And he is obviously the CEO and founder of Little Freddie Toons. And Anaya, my lovely granddaughter, is chocolate chips. And she is the technical and artistic art. And by the way, my granddaughter is an artist and a cartoonist too. Yeah, so.
Very cool. Very cool. It's very, very tasty. So, you're saying the Lord told you about the cookies, but were you a cookie maker? Did you make cookies before?
No, I didn't make cookies before. I came from a family. My sister used to bake a lot. My mom used to bake. And I said, well, this is where the engineer side kicked in. Okay, if I'm going to do cookies, I want to know the ingredients. There's a taste I'm looking for. So the chemistry kicked in. All that stuff kicked in. So you see the marriage of the artistic side and the engineering side finally cooperating together. And that's how I got into cookies. And using my wife as the guinea pig. Okay, so, honey, how did this taste? How did this taste? And stuff like that.
Right.
So until I got it down to where I just like it.
Okay. So we've kind of showing, I'm just looking at it. So the packaging with 3 in a little container, would that be what would go into that retail store?
Yeah, I'm looking to get it to maybe 4 or 5 cookies in each container to make it cost effective.
Okay. And then we have this nice
Subscription box.
Yes. Okay. So
Gift
tell me
box.
about that.
Well, the subscription box we launched last year, and in there is a dozen 2-ounce cookies. You can get in various packages. Variety pack, chocolate chips, oatmeal, and oatmeal raisin and peanut butter.
Okay.
Or you can get them all just chocolate chip or whatever you like. And also we're going to be adding to that is our private label tea as well inside the pack. And each description box gift has words of encouragement in there and a little thing about each character also.
That's great. That's great. I love how you do that. So, somebody listening who might be thinking, I put some things on the back burner. I had some dreams of stuff. I'm in my job. I'm working. I'm getting a paycheck. I need the paycheck. What advice would you give them for juggling things to slowly ramp up that thing that they really love?
Yes, that's a good question. I would say consider your hobby a business. It's a big difference. And then plan accordingly. And yes, like myself, I have a full-time job, but I had to invest the time and energy and look at all resources in terms of how to run a business. I cannot emphasize enough. If your goal is to try to make money off now it's your hobby, you have to treat it like a business. And you should always look to make profit on your business. That's what's going to drive you in terms of making the right decisions.
Okay. It sounds hard.
But it's achievable.
It's achievable.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Do you, as you're talking to people and people go, well, how in the world did you do all this? I'm sure you hear that a lot, right?
I do.
What do you say, or what do you instill in them?
They say, I didn't know you could draw. I didn't know you were an artist. You never shared that with me. I just tell them, why this? This is something, again, the inspiration from my brother and my granddaughter, and to put out a message. Helping small business is one of my ministries. As you know well before, that for 5 years I served as the director of the Disadvantaged Business Opportunity for Milwaukee County.
Right.
And I had that afford me the opportunity to really know businesses and help businesses. And I would say that these are your passions. You got to follow your passion. Believe me, you need the passion, because there's days that you're going to say, why am I doing this? I alluded to you earlier. I get up at 5:30 in the morning to start my day in devotion and things of that sort. Ask God to lead me and direct me. And what should I do, Lord?
Yeah. I get you.
God has to be in the mix.
Yeah. So and also you are, the cartoonist side of you. I guess you diversify, because the other part of your business model is to tailor that to businesses who are, they're branding, they want a brand, they're trying to promote that. You will make a cartoon for them, for their brand, right?
Yeah, I can help them brand. Again, look, there's 1 million people making cookies, right? And I don't make the best cookies in the world. I try to make a good cookie.
Well, I mean, they're good. They are
thank
good.
you. Well, so what's going to attract people to my cookie? Branding.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to capture your eye? These things, branding captures your eye. So now you got them drawn in. The cookie's still got to be good, or whatever product you have to be. So you need to have something that is going to attract your customer to you.
That's a good point, because I look at the cover of your coloring book and you have 2 kids on there, and they pop,
Mm-hmm.
You're drawn to them because of the way they look, the coloring of the coloring book. So that makes sense.
Yes, a young lady on the coloring book, the little kid, that's my granddaughter, Anaya. Mm-hmm. And the young man is little Freddie. That's me.
Little Freddie, yeah.
That's me.
That's very, very cool. Very cool. So if someone wants that, someone thinks, that might work for me. I want something to pop, to draw people in. And this, a caricature might be that. What do they do? How do they get in touch with you?
If they go to my website, again, it's littlefreddietoons.com. And it's little Freddie. Freddie is spelled Freddie, and Toons is Toons.
Very good.
Like I said, littlefreddietoons.com.
All right. Have you already started doing some of this? Well, let me mention this. A few years ago, you did a caricature for my husband for Father's Day.
Yes.
Which was really good, and it's still up in the living room now.
Good.
Him, because he was a firefighter at the time, and a little firefighter hat and a little uniform and stuff, and it's talking about the Father's Day. He loved it.
Good.
So it's amazing. Your talent is great.
Thank you.
And how you use it, and you're always coming up with more ideas. And I guess that is part of that. Take your talent and then diversify it. Look at all of the ways that you can share it and profit from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And try to be a blessing to others. Like I said, you got to have fun doing this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's on the horizon for you? What's on the horizon for Little Freddie Toons?
Well, Little Freddie Toons has been trademarked. Through the blessings Marquette Law School had for free to help businesses to develop their business, I finally got my Little Freddie Toon trademark. So I'm going to be doing more publishing of books and things, Christian-based books and different stories, coloring books and things of that sort. Again, trying to put the cookies into the market out there. Little Freddie Toon ice cream is going to be coming as well.
Wow.
And look forward to sweet potato pie ice cream.
Sweet potato pie ice cream.
That's right.
All right. So do you need some testers for that?
Most definitely.
I volunteer.
Okay.
I volunteer. That is great. Rick, it's been a pleasure having you on the 411 Live. Any closing thoughts that you might have for people who are listening?
I would say whatever your dreams are, pursue them. Bathe it in prayer. And you're going to have some naysayers. That's okay. But as long as if God is giving you a vision, follow it. Visions determine decision. And God does not bless a modified vision that he's given you and you changed it. So follow your dreams. Enjoy the journey and have fun along the way.
Wow, that's powerful. Very, very good. Enjoy the journey. I like that. Well, I've learned a lot about you, which is good. And I am going to continue to enjoy my cookie. And I thank you so much for joining us on the 411
And
Live.
thank you for having me. It really is a blessing. Thank you so much. This means a lot to me.
Yeah, excellent. My guest, Rick Norris, cookie entrepreneur, engineer, cartoonist. Hey, go to his website and he can help you out as well. And thank you for joining us for another episode. This is the 411 Live. We are a nonprofit organization. If you'd like to help us out, go to our website, the411live.org. Until next time, I'm Beverly Taylor. This is the 411 Live. Real people, real talk. God bless. If you would like to check out past episodes, there are many ways. Go to your favorite podcast platform. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Like and watch us on Facebook. Watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have suggestions for future episodes, go to our website, the411live.org.